Hello and welcome back to a Pup in the Life. We are here with my sister, almost, Ambra, and we are actually strolling around and just living life in our favorite countryside. You might ask yourself, why? Because mom is on her period and we unfortunately, well, very luckily, don't see her at the gym because period is too painful, and hopefully this we're gonna keep on the record for mommy in the future to find a solution to this as well. But TMI, in today's podcast, let's talk about how. Well, we've been on a roll with podcasts lately. But anyways, we just heard this, and to be honest, we are considering how probably the main consideration that we can take in our equation for mountains. It's not mountains. Mountains is the topic of another podcast. About happiness is we deem happiness and we measure happiness, ragazze, as something that is measured on the basis of what somebody else is actually considering as happiness. And so it's normal. We make comparisons. It's totally normal. And so we consider ourselves by asking ourselves, well, first off, I have a boat, but somebody else has a bigger boat. And if you keep going this way, and if you keep thinking about how big things get based on how big the thing actually is, so how big the boat actually is, you're gonna find yourself in a very bad spot, because only if you're the richest person on earth, you will actually have the bigger boat. But what if somebody else comes in, Vergola, and has the bigger boat themselves? It's gonna happen, because at some point, Vergola, at this point, this is gonna happen. And so you'll find yourself dealing with a situation in which, how are you gonna explain, how are you gonna accept that that is no longer the bigger boat? And so if you start scrambling around everything about this, you're gonna soon realize that there is no amount, there's no dimension of a boat that makes the boat the best, the most amazing thing that will help you out being happy. And so it's very hard to be measuring happiness based on how big the boat actually is. Instead, you'll probably have an assessment on other important things that are not in the dimension type of space, but rather are in the need to survival type of kit that we already spoke about previously in our episodes in the podcast, where you would just find yourself telling yourself that you're gonna basically find a way to assess how many things you have that actually you need. And let me help you out on this one a bit. First off, you are loved. Take into account how many people are you loved from. And not only people, but maybe even your pets. I guess you probably have a pet if you're listening, or you might just want to consider getting yourself one. First one, how many? It's at least one person that cares about you and has ever cared about you. Maybe if you lost them, but you can tell them. Second, do you have a roof over your head? Probably rent, probably bought it, probably crashing on the sofa of somebody, or maybe your friend lets you crash. Then be in a hotel. That's one. That's two, actually. 3, do you have clean and running water that's also drinkable? Yes, that's number 3. 4, do you have food, possibly healthy food, to put in your mouth? Probably. 5, you have an internet connection. And you're here listening to the pod because you have an internet connection. 6, you probably have the freedom to choose and to think about things and analyze things and be able to understand things, ask questions, and maybe receive answers. You have a mind that thinks. Because if you weren't in your right mind, you wouldn't be able to listen to this pod. So I'm sure you all have this. I mean, this is the basis. But most people on earth don't have this type of luxury. Do you have an identity card? Do you have a passport? That is also something that's very, very useful as well. Do you have a health card that's basically getting you healthcare wherever you live? Possibly if you live in a state like Italy, you would have it almost free. I wouldn't say 100%. Everything else that you have probably a means to move. If it's not a car, it's a bike, it's public transportation, maybe. Everything else, second car, second bike, job of your dreams, a fancier house, some money to go to a Michelin star restaurant. Yamo! Holidays in a fancy place. Anything that's more, it's more. And I don't mean to say you shall not ask for more. I just mean to say that you can measure more, but you can measure it on the top of Maslow's pyramid, because all your other needs are already met. So I want to shift a bit your perspective in an actual analysis that for us has worked quite well. And for us, I mean mom, because for me, as a dog, imagine my life as a dog. I am so fucking happy with mom, with my family, with my house, with my food, with my playful moments. Life is fucking happy. And guess what? My life is going to be way shorter than the lives of a human being. But somehow, Vergola, ferma, we don't bitch around. We stay true to ourselves. We enjoy the life that we have, sometimes even without a reason, because many dogs get beaten and they still love their people, unfortunately. Dayamba, su. Life can be amazing as a dog. And imagine that we don't have many of the things that human beings have, including the ability to speak, the ability to read, the ability to understand part of the language. But here we are, just enjoying just being, just feeling. Switch your perspective. If you were to ask mom, she would tell you she's happy. She can feel frustrated and everything, but she has what she needs. Once you have it, there's really nothing else that can put you down, even if you're worried. So hopefully today's pod is useful for you to understand how a dog sees the world, and how I also helped mom to do it, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to convince her. It wasn't easy to explain to her. Somehow we find a way. She was willing to listen. Are you? For now, sending you lots of kisses, hugs, and a bit of barks.